wonderful human beings, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Remy and I share lots of vegan recipes and tips to help you live well. And today we're going to be doing another what I eat in a day, but we're only going to be cooking with one appliance. Let me actually grab it and show you what it is. The one appliance that we're using today to cook all of my meals, the Instant Pot. I've had this for about a year at this point, and my friend Rowena actually gave it to me because she wasn't really using it, so I love it a little bit extra because it's from her. Anyways, since I got it, I've been pretty good about using it, but I don't feel like I use it as much as I could. And there's so much cooking potential with an Instant Pot, but I do want to say one thing that I feel like is a little bit misleading about Instant Pots is that it's not all that instant. It is in the sense that the amount of time you have to be involved in the cooking process is much less, but it still takes time to build up the pressure that then cooks whatever it is you're trying to make. I just feel like that's something that I wanted to throw in because I have seen some recipes online for like a 1-minute quinoa on the internet, and let me just tell you, it takes a lot longer than 1 minute. With that said, let's get into using the Instant Pot. Also, if you don't have an Instant Pot, you can basically make all of these recipes on the stovetop as well. You don't really need one of these, but I did just want to challenge myself to put it to use because I own it and I feel like you should use what you own a little bit more. So let's get into it. I know that today I definitely want to make some quinoa, and I think what I'm going to do is actually use it for both breakfast and lunch. So there's an apple pie quinoa breakfast oatmeal that I have on my channel from an older video, but in an effort to switch it up and also because it's summer, what I'm going to do is just batch prepare quinoa and then use it for breakfast and make kind of like a cold cereal. Instead of oatmeal, I use quinoa basically, and then add in some apples, some cinnamon, a couple of other toppings. And then for lunch, I'm also going to use the same quinoa that I batch prepped and probably make some kind of tofu salad bowl. Let's prepare some quinoa and then we'll get breakfast ready. So here I have my freshly cooked quinoa, raspberries. I'm gonna add some cinnamon and some soy milk. I like soy milk because it's a little bit creamier and it has some protein in it too, which is always nice. And then I'm gonna add some chia seeds. I've had this jar forever and I'm still not done with it, so we need to get working on this. Here is breakfast. I know it's not maybe the best looking thing, but it's really simple. Quinoa has a little bit of a flavor. It's not as neutral as oatmeal in taste. It has kind of like this nutty flavor. So if you're not a fan of that, I would definitely recommend my previous Instant Pot oatmeal recipe because it has the natural sweetness from the apples and it's just cooked down with a little bit more sweetness in mind. You can add a little bit of vanilla. You can add some maple syrup if you like. I'm pretty accustomed to the taste of quinoa at this point, so I just eat it without and use the fruit from the sweetness. But you know, just treat it like oatmeal. You could even start with half oatmeal, half quinoa at first if you just want to sneak in some quinoa. All right, I'm back for lunch. I think what I'm gonna do is just make a super simple salad bowl. I'm gonna use tofu as my protein. Normally, I would just give it a quick pan fry or a pan saute over like open heat, but instead I'm gonna use the saute function on the Instant Pot, which is super handy. Normally, I do that before I make a soup so that I can make it like one pot and saute in there and then blend, but I'm just gonna use it for sauteing only since the quinoa is already ready. For the rest of the dish, I'm just gonna chop up some greens, pair it with maybe some avocado. I'm gonna keep it fairly simple, but I do think that the Instant Pot is amazing for meal prep, or if you live with other people. I live alone, but making a ton of quinoa could be amazing if you have like family with you that could just pull it out of the fridge and eat it when they want. So we are gonna do just that and make a salad bowl. Quick update, I found some frozen tofu cubes left over in my freezer, but they're ready to cook. They actually have a really great texture when you let them freeze and then cook them or thaw them. And then I'm just gonna do a very simple tamari, garlic, maybe a little bit of maple style saute with it. I have the Instant Pot here on a saute setting. I gave it a little bit of time to just heat up, and now we're gonna dump in the tofu. So I'm expecting a sizzle. Woo, this is steamy. I'm gonna grab my leftover cooked quinoa and then some salad greens. And it's just so nice to have because making staples like this in bulk and keeping them in the fridge, it's not exactly meal prep, but it does save you some time, especially if it's something that you know you're always gonna eat. And I feel like it makes it easier for you to whip up healthy meals without having to go through prep of something like this. Salad greens, and we're adding a little bit of our cooked quinoa to that. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of like to spread it out within the salad and pick it up with like each bite of leaf. Does that make any sense? But now we're gonna add some avocado, tofu, and cucumbers. Just a little bit of dulse, along with the last of my hemp seeds. I'm running really low. Here is lunch. This is a pretty typical lunch for me, but I will say, and I'm being 100% honest here, I definitely prefer sauteing things on a real pan versus the Instant Pot. I feel like one, it's not as nonstick, and two, it's just a little bit of a hassle to clean that kind of shape out of a pan if all you're cooking is tofu, which at this meal is definitely the case. But like I said earlier, it's an awesome option if you don't have access to like a pan or a cooking range. Let's take a bite of this salad. There's dulse, hemp seeds, quinoa, greens, avocado, all kinds of textures, flavors, and also nutrients. This video would make a lot more sense if I filmed it when it was a little bit colder outside. It's currently summer, and I feel like in general, I'm just not cooking with heat as much because veggies are so fresh. I'm naturally craving things that are a little bit more raw and refreshing versus like hearty and cooked. So maybe I should do a part 2 for this in the fall, like make some more stews and curries and things like that. That's really, I feel like, when the Instant Pot excels. So simple, but so good. Hi again. So I just had a really exciting realization, which is that I can make a snack in the Instant Pot. I was kind of like thinking that today I just wouldn't have a snack, and if I did, it would just be like raw veggies, something that doesn't require cooking. And then I was thinking about it and I was like, I could probably make popcorn in my Instant Pot, because if you think about it as if it's just a regular stovetop pot or pan, that's kind of how you make popcorn. You just put a little bit of oil in it usually, and then your popcorn kernels, and then you let it do its thing. So I'm a little nervous. I'm just worried that it's gonna explode if I close the lid, and I'm definitely gonna need to cover it so that it doesn't pop all over my apartment, but I'm gonna try it. I think it's gonna work. Normally I use an air popper when I make popcorn, so I don't usually have to use any oil, but I'm gonna use some because I just don't want to burn anything inside the Instant Pot. I think that'll be a mess to clean up, and I'm just gonna play it safe. So we're gonna use a little bit of oil. That'll help the seasoning stick anyway. So I'm gonna probably put some nutritional yeast, garlic powder, salt, all the things I usually like to put on popcorn. So let's try it. Fingers crossed this works. I've got the Instant Pot on saute mode again. I'm just adding a little bit of coconut oil, like probably a couple teaspoons. And I'm just gonna get this all nice and melty all over the bottom of the pot. All right, it's been a few minutes. Let's give it a test with just one kernel. It should kind of, actually wait, I think you were supposed to put the kernel in first and wait till that pops to know when it's ready. Am I doing this wrong? Can you tell I don't make popcorn in a pot very often? Oh my God, it worked. It worked. Okay, so we're gonna put in the rest of the kernels, the seasoning over there, and then cover this so that it can all pop. Ready for this? And then this is kind of a lot of seasoning actually. Yeah, oh well. When I start to hear popping, I'll report back again. I really thought that I was being super creative. I was like, wow, this is so wonderful, amazing, never been done before. And Google showed me that there are a million Instant Pot popcorn recipes, but you know what? It's okay. I thought I was onto something. I'm just gonna let myself have that moment. You guys hear that? Ah, it's definitely working. I'm so excited. I'm just kind of like, I can't decide if I'm hot or cold, and it's definitely working. One thing I would recommend though is adding the seasoning maybe after it's done cooking and just tossing it and using the little bit of stickiness from the oil to like help the seasoning stick on. If you're using nutritional yeast, which I did, I would definitely recommend waiting to do it after, because I felt like the nutritional yeast absorbed all the oil, made it very dry. And so next time I would do it the other way around. So don't do what I did, do as I say, not as I did. Yay, I'm so happy this worked, and I'm excited to eat this. So we do have a snack today after all. Today I learned you can make popcorn in an Instant Pot, so that's pretty cool. It's really good. I always love making popcorn at home because I feel like it's really easy to do, and you actually save a lot of money in most cases because you're buying it in bulk, which also saves packaging. You have full control over the ingredients. I mean, so many reasons to make popcorn at home if you're a popcorn lover like myself. Ooh, the seasoning smells so good, I must say. Cauliflower. I just realized that I kind of this entire challenge because I definitely wasn't thinking about the blender as another appliance. I just went into autopilot mode and I was like, oh yeah, I always make soup in the Instant Pot and then throw it in the blender. I just, you know when your brain thinks it's so smart and it's functioning on autopilot, but really it's dumb. Some ways you could avoid that is maybe using a hand immersion blender in the Instant Pot. I don't know if that counts as a separate appliance too. Otherwise, making a soup that doesn't involve blending, I'm sure it would be delicious even without the blending. Or making a curry instead would have been a good idea. I really messed up. But I'm gonna have my soup now, and I think that'll just kind of be the last thing that I eat today. Soup is just so good. I know it doesn't seem like a summer recipe, but you know, when the nights are kind of chilly and you just want something easy and light and veggie packed, I just feel like soups are the way to go. I don't think I'm really gonna have any dessert because I can't think of anything that I really want to make in the Instant Pot right now. I'm sure there are a ton of dessert recipes you could make in the Instant Pot, but I'm actually pretty full, and I've got a lot of editing to do tonight. So I think that's gonna be the end of the video. All in all, I don't think it was too difficult of a challenge. The Instant Pot is really versatile and there are so many ways to use it. I think it's a worthwhile investment if you're someone who has the counter space, which is not always the case, especially if you live in New York, and someone who likes to cook beans, grains, legumes, things that typically take a little bit longer to cook, things that you just want to be a little bit more hands-off with. I think this is an awesome way to go. I have the smaller size, so if you have a bigger family, I would say get the bigger size because this is the perfect size for like me plus my leftovers throughout the week. I will leave a link to the Instant Pot in the size that I have in the description box below. This is not an ad by any means, but I'll leave it there because I know that some of you may ask and be wondering what size I have. I also don't know off the top of my head what size it is, but I'll find it on Google and then I'll put it in the description box. If there are any recipes I use, I will also leave those in the description box below, and I hope you enjoy. If you have another challenge for me or another appliance you'd like to see me use, let me know in the comments below and hopefully I'll be able to make that happen. I'll see you in another video soon. Bye!